Hi, I'm Horny Ramen, and welcome to my kitchen. Together we're going to look at all things ramen, some things not ramen, and pretty much anything I love to eat. Today we're going to look at fixing my barbecue. Let's go for a ride. Today we're going to look at my barbecue. This is a 7-year-old Grill Master that I bought when I moved back from Japan. It's treated me super well, but like anything with time, it needs a little bit of love. So let's look at the biggest problem. These are called heat shields, and mine were old and rusty, so I got a new set on Amazon, and we're going to swap them in today. When you have holes in your heat shield, the grease that'll drip off your food when you're cooking will pass through the grill and through the heat shield onto the burner, and this will cause flames to jump up and burn your food. The first thing we're going to do is remove the burners, and since this barbecue is so old, the hardware that holds the auto igniter to the side of the burner is all corroded. Also, the back of the barbecue where there's a shelf to hold the burner has also been damaged on several cases. So on the good ones, I'll take out the R-clip, there's the R-clip, and release all the burners from the frame. Like some propane barbecues, after the first few years, the auto igniter stops working, and since mine is keeping me from pulling out the burners, I'm just going to cut them right off. Now that the barbecue frame is empty, I'm going to go ahead and clean out all the grease and rust that have collected over the years. And don't forget to clean out the grease trap. While cleaning out my grease trap, I found little metal wires from my barbecue brush. These little wires are dangerous because they can fall into your food and you can end up swallowing them. I recommend changing your metal wire brush for a plastic wire brush. Now that the barbecue is all nice and clean, we can move on to cleaning out the burners. For this job, I like using a spiderweb brush. You can find them at most hardware stores or Canadian Tire. Did I just give away my position? Now that the burners are all nice and clean, we're going to put them back inside the barbecue and see if we have good gas flow. It might be a little sloppy the first time you try it out, but yep, let's try it again. And that's not bad. Before I did any of this maintenance, I barely had a blue flame, so this is looking really good. When reinstalling the burners, I noticed that some of the rear support shelves had worn away. In my workshop, I found this Checkmate erector set. Maybe these little metal parts will come in handy. We've got this flat piece, and ooh, I like these little 90-degree brackets. That's going to do fine. We'll pick a drill bit that'll fit the hole in the bracket, and then get out the power drill and unleash it on the barbecue. I'm pretty sure my warranty's up by now, and since a barbecue is just a steel can with gas in it, I have no qualms about making these modifications. Now that the replacement shelf bracket's in, we can reinstall the burner and give it a light. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing for the other 3 burners. After having fixed 2 of the 4 burner brackets, my OCD is not letting me rest with the 2 old brackets still on the barbecue. So we're going to pull them off and replace them with the new pieces from the erector set. As I'm finishing up those 2 holes, I'm realizing that the leftover pieces of bracket that I pulled off are sticking out too far for the screws to reach all the way through. So we're going to get out the grinder and make some sparks. It's a fun fact that in French from France, a grinder is called a rectifieuse, coming from the word to rectify, or fix your problems. You're welcome. Now the screws fit, and Robert's your mother's brother. Now that we're finished upgrading the barbecue, we're going to put the heating elements back in the right way and give them a test fire. I also found that using these little nails to drop them in between the burner and the new bracket does a really good job of keeping them in place. And that's a satisfied face. Now we're ready to put back in the heat shields, but we'll put in the new ones. But not all the new ones. We're going to replace one of the older ones just to do a comparative. So we'll pop that in there. Nah, I'm gonna put in a crummier one. This one's got a big hole in it, so we'll do that. With the barbecue all back together, there's a great little trick you can do to figure out where the hot spots are. You put a piece of parchment paper across the hot grill, and the hot spots of your barbecue will start to show themselves on the paper. Now I'm going to give the barbecue one final scrub, and then we'll make some food to see how our work turned out. Back in the kitchen, I'm going to whip up some mayo garlic chicken breast. This is a really easy recipe and it's super delicious. It's just a tablespoon of mayo per breast, and salt, pepper, little cayenne pepper, 1 full lime, and 2 crushed garlic cloves. We'll mix that together, and I might have made a little bit too much sauce, so I'm going to grab a third chicken breast and throw it in the mix. I'll eat it later. Now that the barbecue is nice and hot, we can already see that the position with the old heat shield is flaming and smoking. We're going to put the chicken down and let it cook. We're going to put one over a new heat shield and one over an old heat shield. Before we did any maintenance on the barbecue, that flare up that we see on the chicken happened all the time. So it looks like this upgrade has really made an improvement. We're going to move that piece of chicken off of the old heat shield so that we don't end up burning it. We're going to give these breasts one final flip and call them done. That's mayo garlic chicken. I usually like to serve this over Japanese rice with furikake, pickled vegetables, and tonkatsu sauce. Thanks for watching, and remember, eating good food is a sex you can have in public. If you like this, hit like, and if you want to see more, hit subscribe. See you next time.